Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. So glad you joined us tonight. We're going to make crispy, crunchy onion rings. I promise, the crispiest, crunchiest. Here's a list of the ingredients. You might want to pause and write these down. Let's get cooking. Well, if you want the crispiest, crunchiest onion rings, you've got to start with the batter. This is 1 cup of self-rising flour. If you have all-purpose flour, you want to sift in 1 teaspoonful of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoonful of salt. This is a 1/4 cup cornstarch, and I'm going to mix these together really well. Let's beat up 1 egg pretty well. Add that. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of buttermilk. You don't have to use buttermilk, but it really gives you a little bit lighter batter if you do. Beat it really, really well until you have no lumps. This should give you the consistency of pancake batter, thick enough to stick to the onions, but not doughy. When you get it mixed up well, set it aside. We're going to let it rest for a few minutes. Well, here I have a couple of fairly scrawny looking onions. I can't wait for Vidalia's. We're just going to cut the top and the bottom off. I got a new knife. That's a Kyocera ceramic knife. I really like it, and it was not very expensive. So let's peel this outside skin off. Just barely score it with a knife and it'll come right off. There we go. And we want to slice these pretty evenly. A 1/4 inch actually works about the best, but I'm the world's worst at making even cuts. Just make them as even as you can in any width that you like. When you get them cut, we'll pop that little center part out, and then I'll separate these into a bowl of ice water. When you get done, it always seems like to me there's a good bit of waste with onion rings, but I'm cooking a dish tomorrow that's going to take several onions, so we'll just pop these in the fridge and use them later. Now the fun part. This is a mixture of panko crumbs and matzo meal, about 1/2 and 1/2. I've started with a cup. You may need more. It gets a little gummy as you go along. And I'm going to mix it up well. You can use just the panko if you like. And that's about right. Check your batter, make sure it's not too thick. Might have thickened up a little bit while it was resting, and if it does, just put a couple of drops of water in. But this looks about right. And here we go. Onions in the batter. Move them around a little bit. Use a fork, because your fingers will make spots where the batter doesn't adhere. And drop them right over into the crumbs and splash that up on them. When you get it fully covered, we're going to move it over here to this aluminum foil. I've covered my cutting board with aluminum foil because we don't want to handle them too much. And I'm going to put them out individually because I don't want them stacked up. I'll finish these up and meet you over at the stove. Isn't that pretty? So we're ready to start. I've got another cutting board here with a rack and a paper towel to catch the oil drippings. So my cast iron pan is 2/3 full of oil. It's been heating. I've checked it there. That's a good sizzle. You don't want this to be too hot. I've got it on a medium-high heat. And we're going to drop these in. Drop them in one at a time. And don't overcrowd your pan. I'm only going to put about 5 in here because I don't want them to touch. And I don't want them to be too crowded because I don't want to knock the breading off when I'm turning them and tending them. Now when you drop these in, you want to separate them just a little bit, and other than that, don't touch them for a full minute. Just leave them alone and let them sizzle. After about a minute, they should be crunching up, and we'll give them a little turn. And we're going to let them cook on that side for about a minute, minute and a half too. You'll have to gauge by the color you're getting. When you see they're golden brown on that side, give them another flip. We're going to let them sit here and sizzle about 1 more minute. These are pretty quick cooking, and I usually give them 2 turns. Now you can see that golden brown. We're going to take these out, drain them for a minute or a few seconds. And we're going to remove these to the rack that I have waiting. Sprinkle with a little kosher salt while they're still hot. The beauty of these is that the first ones will still be crunchy when you're done with the last ones. Let's plate this up. Now I said crunchy. I want you to hear crunchy. You hear crunchy? It's still pretty hot, but I think I can take a bite of this because I just want you to hear the crunchy. Was that a little bit too much crunch? No, talking with my mouth full. I won't be able to stop now. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. So glad you joined us. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Hope you make some crunchy onion rings. You're going to love them.